I don't want to read these books. Everybody keeps talking about how great this book is. They are doing a Twilight movie night. It's not something that I would necessarily gravitate towards. I may have to throw the summer vibes out the window. I'm already halfway through it. I am throwing that plan out the window. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all of the books that I'm planning on reading in the month of September. Here's the catch. If I, at any point in September, decide I don't want to read these books, I am throwing that plan out the window and I'm going to read based off of vibe. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm planning on reading these books, but if I'm not feeling it, life is too short to stick to a list if you are not truly excited about it. So I'm going to share with you guys what I'm planning on reading this month, but it may change up and that's okay. And it's okay if you need to change your list up as well. So let's just get into what I'm planning on reading this month. First up, we have The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I don't know how you say her name. Anyway, but The Wedding People. This book has been so talked about, and this is actually a book club pick for this month, and book club is next week. So I do plan on finishing this. I'm already halfway through it, and I am enjoying it so far. It is a heavier read, so if you're not in the right headspace, I don't recommend it. But if you are in the correct headspace, this is a really good book. It tackles a lot of hard stuff, and it's just very deep and meaningful. Sorry if you hear any noise in the background. I do have 2 dogs, and if I tried to film without having some sort of interruptions, things would never get filmed. Anyway, but this is the first book that I'm reading this month, and I am enjoying it a lot. Next up, I have 2 books that are carrying over from August because I didn't get to them, and because it's not quite fall yet, so I feel like I need to sneak in a few more summer reads. But it is Meet Me at the Lake and The Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I read Every Summer After and One Golden Summer last month, and I really enjoyed them, but I realized that these were not all interconnected like I thought, which is why I read those 2 and not these, because I was planning on reading them all in order, but then I realized they don't connect. But I do want to read these books at some point this month. Hopefully I can get to it. I may have to throw the summer vibes out the window because, you know, it's time for fall, but maybe. I would like to check these off my list because I've been wanting to read them, so we will see if I get that accomplished. So the rest of these books I don't actually own physical copies of. Some of them haven't been released yet. We will get into that. And then some of them I'm just borrowing from the library or audiobook or whatever. So the first one is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and this is a book club pick. It's not something that I would necessarily gravitate towards, but I am planning on reading it because it is a book club book, and I actually borrowed it from the library. So I will be reading this book at some point this month. Next up, I have Wild Card by Elsie Silver. You guys, this has been my most anticipated read for the back half of the year. This is the most anticipated one that's like hasn't been released yet. Like, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get my hands on this book. It's actually going to be available on Kindle Unlimited, so I will be reading it the minute that I wake up on Tuesday. I am so excited. You guys, I am so excited. So what more can I say about it? I'm excited for this book. I've been waiting for this book since it was announced. I think back in March, like right around the time Wild Side came out, I think they announced this one, and I have been looking forward to it ever since. So catch me reading all day next Saturday. What? Catch me reading all day next Tuesday when it releases. Next up, I have Where the Forest Meets the Stars. This one's also on Kindle Unlimited. It's also a book club pick for Delaney Smith's Patreon book club. I'm interested in this, and I definitely want to try to get to it if I have time, but it's also kind of outside of my normal genre, if you will, because it's like a magical realism fantasy type of book, I think, which I like fantasy and I do like magical realism, but I don't know, they're not my, like, I'm not drawn to those books necessarily. So the description sounded interesting. It also sounded like it could be sad though. So I don't know if those are the vibes for September. I mean, obviously I'm reading The Wedding People, which is kind of sad, but I definitely think it's going to have a happy ending. So yeah. Anyway, I have it on my list that I want to read this book because it's book club, you know? Totally didn't even realize that the other 2 books that I have put on this list, I actually do own physical copies of. The next one I have is Wild Dark Shore. I have tried to read this multiple times and I just cannot get through like the first little bit of it, and everybody keeps talking about how great this book is. So I really want to give it a chance. So I'm hoping that maybe we can get it together here. I don't know. I have it on the list to read. We will see see if it actually happens this month. And last up on the list, well, I'm gonna share something else with you, but last one that I have on my list of books I haven't read ever before is The God of the Woods. So I felt like this would be the perfect way to transition into like the spooky season, spooky reading, because all of October is gonna be like thrillers, mystery, that type of vibe. And this is a mystery, and I believe it's a mystery like that takes place at like a summer camp. So I felt like this would be the perfect vibes. It is kind of chunky though. How many pages is that? Like almost 500 pages. So for a mystery thriller, it is kind of long, but I feel like the vibes could be right to transition to October. I'm so excited about October and my October reads. I cannot wait to share them with you guys. I've been putting the list together and I'm excited for it. But this I definitely think would be a great way to like transition into all of that from like summer romance type of reads, which a lot of these were summer romance type of reads. I'm hoping to get to this in the month of September. All right, so the last books on my list, this is like a crazy list, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to this, but I have been feeling the itch to reread Twilight. And the bookstore that I go to, that I do like my one of my book clubs with, they are doing a Twilight movie night. So they're doing a Twilight movie night. I can't make it to the first one, but I can make it to New Moon, and they haven't released the dates or tickets for the rest of the movies, though they have said they're gonna be doing them. So in my mind, I was like, I kind of want to reread the whole series before I go watch all the movies. That makes sense, you know? They're also coming back into theaters at the end of October, and I think it was at the end of October. Yeah, end of October, beginning of November, and I think I may have convinced James to go watch all of them with me in the movie theater. So again, I really want to reread the books before that happens, so we will see. I also noticed that they were on Kindle Unlimited, which makes it seem easier to me to read because I don't have to hold like a really thick, chunky book. I can just read it on my Kindle. And I will say we have a lot of flying going on in the month of September. Lots of travel going on, vacation time. I'm excited about it, but that also means there could be a lot of time to read. So it could happen. A Twilight reread could totally happen. I reread Twilight last year in November, and my plan was to read all of them in November, and I just didn't do it. I did Twilight and then stopped, but now I'm like, because it's on Kindle Unlimited and I'm gonna rewatch the movies, I don't know, a reread might be on the table here. So I'm not like saying absolutely that's gonna happen. I'm just saying it might happen. It might happen. So those are all the books that I plan on reading in the month of September. It is quite the list, I will say. But again, if I'm not vibing with it, I'm just not gonna read it because life is too short to be in a reading slump because you're like, I have to read these things because I said I was gonna read them or they're on my list or whatever. Because the reality is I can read summer books anytime I want. Like, you don't have to read summer books in summer. You can read summer books any time of the year. I don't know, I might switch it up. For now, this is the plan though. This is like what I want to happen. We will see. We will see if I can get all those done and all the Twilight books. Like, that's insane because that's a lot. You know, even if I could get some of these done, that would be great. I feel like the book club books this month, other than The Wedding People, the other two are not books that I would normally gravitate towards, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. But you know, I'm very, very, very excited about Wild Card by Elsie Silver. I'm so excited for that one. So I definitely will be reading that this month, but I'm very tempted to just read Twilight. Why do I just want to read Twilight and nothing else? I don't know. I just remember when Twilight came out and I started reading it. I think I started reading it like right before the movies started coming out, or maybe the first one had already come out, but it was definitely before New Moon because I remember New Moon coming out and being so excited to go see it. So it may have been like after the first movie came out. It's like 2008 maybe is whenever I picked them up, and I just remember reading like all of them in a week. You know, it was before I was like, I mean, I was an adult, but I still lived with my parents and had like my job and whatever, but then I had like a lot of downtime, so I would stay up really late and read books, and it was great. But I just remember like binging that series hardcore. Like, it was all I wanted to read. I had to know what happened. I bought the first book, finished the first book, and then was like, I gotta get the second one. And like, I'm pretty sure I read those books in a week. So it is doable. Although now I'm an adult with responsibilities, you know, like taking care of my dogs and cleaning the house, cooking, working. We will see. We will see. I will definitely share it with you guys if I do any of that. But that is it for my September TBR list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys are reading this month, because maybe I want to be insane and add more to my list. So let me know if I need to add more things to the list this month. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.